Okay, we've got our project set up and we've made a few skills. How do we set up an actor's deck so that it contains those skills? Here are some of the things we'll cover in the video. Let's go to the Classes tab of the database. Notice that all of the skills there are all present when you boot up the game and go to the card library. This is because whenever an actor learns a skill, they gain a card made from that skill. All of these skills are learned at level 1, so the actor knows them all from the start. If you have multiple copies of a skill in this list, when you go back to the card library, you can see that we now have multiple copies of that card. And because cards are made from learned skills, you can use the event command change skill to give an actor cards or take them away. Here I've got an event that makes the player learn thick glasses but forget focus. When I open up my library, you can see my cards have changed. If I do this enough though, I've run out of focus cards. If you try and make an actor forget a skill they don't know, nothing will happen. Here's a setup that lets the player choose what card to add to their deck. I'm using our Show Card plugin command to display the cards on screen. We use a more complicated version in the demo project that comes with CGC. You can find this setup in the Common Events tab of the project. There's a lot of code, but the comments explain how it works. And here's a booster pack setup that randomly selects 5 cards to add to the player's deck. Using the Equip Cards plugin that comes with CGC, you can temporarily add cards to an actor's library through equipment and states. Use the Add Card note tags on a weapon or armor, and when the actor equips that weapon or armor, they gain access to the card you specify. If they remove that equipment, they lose the card too. You can use the skill ID of the card you want to give an actor, or the name of the skill in the Add Card note tag. The same Add Card note tags will work in states as well. When an actor is given a state, they receive that card. If the player is in battle when they receive the state, the card will be added to their deck. If the state is removed, the card will be removed even if it's in the hand. You can get skills to add and remove cards mid-battle too, using card actions. Place Add Skill ID to Zone inside a card action note tag, and when the player uses that skill, they gain a copy of that card in the zone you specify just for that battle. Place it in a card target action note tag, and enemies can give you cards you don't want. More about card target actions in a later video. Place Remove X inside a card action note tag, and it will make the player select cards from their hand, and those selected cards will be removed from play. You can also use the Remove This card action, which will remove the card on use. The removal animation parameter in the Core Engine plugin can change what it looks like when a card is removed mid-battle. Any cards gained or lost using the add or remove actions are reset at the end of battle. The Card Action Pack 1 plugin lets you choose a selection of cards from a list to perform actions on, including the add and remove actions. This is a little more advanced, but it gives you a lot more options, like picking 3 cards from the top 6 cards of your deck. Let's go over these in more detail. Here I've got Select 1 from skills 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Add selected to hand. Clear selection. This will give you a choice between 5 different cards to add to your hand. The select card action will open a menu, and add selected will add the card selected in that menu. Clear selection cleans up so future card actions don't use the selected cards. Now I've got a card with these note tags. Select 3 of 6 from deck top. Remove selected. clear selection. This will make you choose 3 of the top 6 cards in your deck and remove them until the end of battle. If you were looking to use a TCG type interface for adding and removing cards, we have an expansion plugin called Deck Editor that lets you do so. We cover this expansion plugin in a later video. Those are all the ways of manipulating an actor's deck, from the most permanent to the most temporary. For more in this series, check out Part 3, Card Visual Elements. And if you're watching this, you're probably a game developer, which means you know how good it feels when numbers go up. Consider subscribing to make our numbers go up.